voice of Chester. CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.
And a good Monday. It's Dave Burman here. We're live on CMPRadio.net. And, of course, our show, the first one ever here for this program, Delco Sports 360 with me, Dave Burman. There we are. And everything is on YouTube also, and everything archived on YouTube. So much to talk about here with sports, high school, college, pro in Delaware County. Our first show tonight, we're going to focus on some baseball. Of course, today, this Monday, first round of the PIAA state tournament in baseball and softball. We got lacrosse going on. We just finished up, of course, track and field last weekend, the state championships in Shippensburg. My guests to my right, LaFennis Terry, longtime assistant coach for Chester High football, helping out, doing a great job with the Chester High track program. And to my left is Dan Waters, and Dan is the head baseball coach for the Chester High Clippers. Gentlemen, thank you very much. First, LaFennis, thanks for coming on the program. Appreciate it. And I know that you as we're going to interview Dan first, but so much to talk about.
Right. And Delco Sports, that's the main thing, right? In my eyesight, it needs a spotlight. And this idea was a great idea. We have so many amazing athletes, amazing programs, and we have so much success just around the state. And highlighting Delco Sports is just also it's it.
Yeah, like 23 high schools in Delaware County alone,
right?
And that includes the private schools. Speaking of private schools, Dan Waters, he graduated from one, Cardinal O'Hara, right, Dan?
That is correct, sir.
And what year was that? Come on, I graduated Nether Providence in 1976. So
83.
I say you're a child compared to me. But how many years have you been the Chester High baseball coach?
This is my fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yes.
And it's been a rewarding experience. You want to get more wins, obviously, playing in the Del Val. But you're doing a good job just with the kids and, teaching them about winning, how to be good, losing, how to handle that, and then, of course, about life.
Yeah, quite frankly, Chester High School, the problem we have is recruiting enough players because they're into hoop dreams, most of them.
Yes.
And, they don't realize that in baseball there's a better opportunity to get drafted and to play baseball. So we've been working on that. Me and my coaches, good coaching staff, great coaching staff, Andre Solomon and J.R. Wells and Jamal Martin, great staff. So we've been working on that to try to like reach out to more people. Now, before COVID, we had like 18 players interested and that signed up. After COVID, not so much. We had 14, but we were getting to where we wanted to be to get enough players interested in baseball. So we're hoping next year, like for example, we do summer ball, baseball, and fall ball. And that's all volunteer, but we just want to recruit more and more guys. So that's our mission. And this year it came true to a point because we did get better. And we saw that. We saw a lot of improvement. So
Chester,
that's our goal.
unbelievable, rich history of Chester High School Clipper baseball. Look at the guys that have played big-time professional baseball, either the Negro League and or the major leagues. I mean, They made it. Guys like Neck Stanley. Do you remember him? From the Negro Leagues, 1928 to 1948. In Major League Baseball, Tom Chisholm graduated from Chester, I think, in 73. Tom his son TJ, inducted into our Delaware County Sports Hall of Fame recently. He was a great player. If you may recall, at Sun Valley, took them to the state finals in 2006 before they lost, and I was there. Out at Altoona, they lost to John Carr and Pine Richland. But Tom Chisholm, 1979, finally broke through for the Orioles. And in September of 79 year, they went to the World Series, you may recall, at a 3-1 lead to the Pirates. Pirates came back and beat them. But Tom backed up Eddie Murray that year. What a great experience. And then he was in the minor leagues for a long time. Lou Krause, unbelievable, 1961 to 74 in the major leagues. Johnny Pagani, 40 to 46. His son was a great player. Johnny in sports at St. James. Danny Murtaugh, what more can you say about him? 2 World Series as a manager for the Pirates. He was a player from 1941 to 1951. Danny led the Pirates to the World Series in 1960 on the Bill Mazeroski home run, and back again in 1971. And he was the first manager to field an all-minority, we'll call it, all the black, but baseball team. It was unbelievable. You guys remember hearing about that. Danny Murtaugh played in the majors 41 to 51. And then Ron Henry, great player, Chester High, battled in the minor leagues for years, finally made the Twins, but he was a catcher, and he was behind Johnny Roseborough, Earl Batty all those years. If you remember him, the old heads, and we'll tell you about that. He played in 61 and 1964. So the history is there for Chester baseball, but hopefully we can get it back and make the team more competitive, Dan.
Yeah, that alludes back to what I said, because Chester baseball used to be something special. But because of the basketball, the notoriety of basketball, now the football team is starting to improve. And it's tough to get them to get. I tried to get the football players to play baseball, but it's been tough. It's a struggle, and that's my main purpose, is to just get, more players, especially pitchers. And that's the big thing with us. We need pitchers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so do the Phillies. But anyway, that's another. But hey, they won 4 in a row. All right, the field, the Chester High baseball field, is absolutely one of the best fields in the state of Pennsylvania. Johnny Baseball, Johnny McGonigal, he does it for you. He has an old man's league that I've been following for years. What a job he does. You want to give Johnny a shout and what he means to your program and Chester baseball.
Yeah, him and Dan McShane do a wonderful job of helping us, especially in the summer. We have RBI baseball, which is our first game is this Saturday. So, they do a wonderful job, and they're also there to help us with drills, training drills, and Johnny Baseball.
Johnny Baseball.
Going to the All-Star Academy, so he's an expert at drills. So I appreciate those guys a lot.
It's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's absolutely incredible. Dan Waters to my left here. He is the baseball coach for Chester High. To my right, LaFennis Terry. Going to talk to LaFennis about the track and field state championships, the track and field regular season, the districts, and then, of course, we got all-star football going on. Just because it's summer, you got all-star football. It was the Hero Bowl last week.
Yeah.
And what is today? Monday already. It's unbelievable. 7:09, you're watching cmpradio.net, and it's Delco Sports 360 with yours truly, Dave Burman, and the guys. Let's run down the sponsors of the studio and really the entire radio station here, which has been around 5 years. Pressure Inc., KC Electric, Cat Center, and Northern Marketing. You want to run down, Dan, some of the players? Let's run down your whole team if you can and give all the kids a shout, because I saw the bus trip back after that big win against Academy Park, and everybody was excited. So, and a lot of charisma, like Chester. Chester athletes have charisma, and so do these kids.
That's funny you mention that, because I told them I would be on here, and they told me to give them a shout out. So I will do that. Our MVP was Anthony Rexwick. He's been on our team since 9th grade. And he's 9th grade. He got most chance to be the better player, or most improved player. And this year he won the MVP. He did a wonderful job. Nick Griffin is one of our best pitchers. He did a wonderful job as well. Ed Baker, also a senior, he won the most spirited award. He's always getting everybody up and
Fired up, as they call it.
Exactly. Yeah. And Mackay Johnson won the most improved player, and he improved completely. He helped us win at least 2 games, so that's pretty much it. And
your assistant coaches do an awesome job promoting the program. So how many of the guys are coming back for next year?
Unfortunately, we're losing 4 seniors, and 3 of them were starting pitchers, so that's our problem. As you mentioned, the assistant coach is Dre Solomon as our pitcher coach, and he actually had a tryout for the Arizona Diamondbacks 2 years ago.
Wow, nice.
And last summer he played independent baseball in Oregon, and he really does a wonderful job. And J.R. Wells, who used to play football at Chester and baseball, he's our outfield coach, and our outfitter, since he's been coaching them, they never drop a ball, very rarely. And Jamal Martin just started this year, but he's contributed quite a bit. He's like a very stern guy.
Well, hopefully these guys will get a chance in college, and if they want to go. I mean, they have some experience, and you're going to continue to try to build. Dan Waters, the Chester High baseball coach. Are we going to try to maybe get softball in someday? Have you talked to anybody about that?
Actually, there's a phys ed teacher at Chester High, Miss Bates. She asked me about softball. And I said, well, they used to have it, but they don't have it anymore. And she was going to look into that. So, yeah, that's a possibility for next year.
And you can tell Dan has an unbelievable voice. And he also, I was in full-time radio for 35 years myself in the middle of nowhere, Harrisonburg, Virginia, in central PA. And it was definitely, it was a different culture out there, to say the least. But I did okay. It was a lot of fun, met a lot of great people. But you also were out there in good old Clearfield. And I used to announce, as a matter of fact, the head boys basketball coach, Todd Wren, for Academy Park High School, was a star athlete at Clearfield High School.
Right, the Bison.
Yeah. And you were out there. Tell everybody what it's like to live out there.
I was out there for a couple of years. There's not much to do. That's all I'll say. I just went out there to get experience in my radio career.
But it was great sports for those towns out there.
The sports were good. I did baseball and football. Yep.
Yeah, and
wrestling, which I've never done wrestling in my life.
Oh,
but I had
man.
to do it.
Powerhouse out there. Powerhouse. Clearfield, PA. The Bison, Tim Ginoko's been there forever as the head football coach. So, and how long were you in broadcasting?
I was in broadcasting for 10 years. And then I decided to become a teacher, and I've been doing that for 17 years now. So.
And you're teaching at?
Chester High School.
Chester High. Okay.
Emotional support.
What's that?
History. Emotional sport history.
Okay, great. Yep. That's very, very important.
Thank you.
I could use that sometimes. But anyway, this is. I really appreciate you being part of the show. If you want to hang out for a little bit, we're going to talk to LaFennis. You get some scoop. LaFennis Terry is with us, and your little book about you. Where are you from besides Chester? I know you went to Chester High. You graduated like 2001?
2002.
2002.
2002.
All right. And so tell us more. You do the talking here.
Okay. Well, 2002 graduate. Did football for 4 years there. Did track for 2. Shout out to Coach Shake, Jamal Allen for actually, hey, come on out, try track out, and because I was football.
I would love for him to be on the show sometime. So I'm throwing it out there if he's watching. But Shake's the man. He is the man. What a job he's done. But yeah, so you graduated for last year for football, 2001.
That was yes, that was my last season, 2001. Ended up going to Thaddeus Stevens. Went there, played there. I was all conference out there. 110 tackles my last year. Runner up to player of the year in the conference. Did well there. And after graduating from there, I kind of started my career with juvenile justice. And I've been in that field since 2005. But at the same rate, when I started that, I came back and started coaching at Chester High, as you spoke about. So I started in 2005, 15 seasons. I started as a volunteer for maybe 4 or 5 years under Willie Bates.
Willie Bates, keep in touch with him.
Then Chuck Cruz took over as the head. He brought me on staff. So I was a D-line coach then. I did 1 year when Coach BD came down.
Right.
Then once Coach Bell came on with him. Did my last 3 years as defensive coordinator before stepping down, retiring from coaching there. 2017, 18, Coach Jamie Warren came to me. Hey, you ever think about, throwing a coaching shot put?
Wasn't he a legend? He was a legend
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
All-American. I believe he came out in 82. Don't quote me, but it was around that time. And he was actually my head coach when I was in high school. So Mr. Grossman had stepped down. The position came available. He was like, hey, he actually saw me at football practice one day. What do you ever think? I'm like, yeah, sure, and started that and fell in love with that. And the track team, as far as same issues coach is having. Our team, we had a total of 8 runners on our boys team, runners and throwers.
And the rich history, and I have
Absolutely.
it all. Chester High, Clipper, Lady Clipper, a lot of track and field state champions going back to the 1920s.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even because we don't have the quantity, and that's what hurts us, like team title-wise, Delco's team title-wise, but we have quality in the little numbers that we do have. As Walton Garnett, he won the 400-meter open event and for Delco's. Kyrie Harper, who's a football guy as well, he got second place there. One of my throwers, who's actually a football player too, Desmond Williams, he actually won Delco's in the discus. That's my second thrower to actually win Delco's in my 4 years coaching, and I was very happy with that. The kid, he's a junior, he's coming back next year, and especially our girls program, man. They're tough. They're very, very young. They lose one senior, Alina LaForest. She's a beast. She's a beast. They lose her.
She's going to VMI, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You get a chance, you can tell where the kids are going to school. I know Kylie's playing football, right?
He's doing both. Last I heard.
Okay, at Lock Haven.
University.
There you go. There's so many kids from
And
Chester playing ball at college.
And we only lose one other boy, Raheem McIver. He's going to Lock Haven as well. But other than that, everyone returns from our track teams, boys and girls.
Have you ever met Coach Joyce? He was the man who coached the Legends back in the 70s, and he keeps in touch with me on Facebook. And I haven't met him in person yet, but James Joyce, he knows.
I've heard the name, but yeah, I've never met him.
Tamika Friend and all. It's unbelievable.
Right,
this,
right.
And for us old heads, 1994, 93, and 1976 seems like yesterday. But I mean, you've heard the stories. You've heard the great stories.
I've heard the stories. I can't quite say the same thing as far as the old head thing, but yeah, I've heard the stories. And it's just so much history, and that's why everyone and it's every sport's trying to bring back what Chester High School used to have.
Well, this is good exposure right here. People can see this. Well, hopefully, we can get some kids on the air. That's great experience for them. We got CMP Price across the way here, and I think the first show we're going to try to do this. I want to do it every Monday night, starting at 7:00, and as long as we can get some sponsors down the road, we can keep it going through the high school football season. So that you couldn't make it out there to Shippensburg, correct?
No, I couldn't. I had my grandmother's funeral was on Saturday, the second day, so yeah, I couldn't make it out there. But I stayed tapped in. Friday, Actually, no one from Chester High School made the finals. You know, top 8 makes finals. Finals on Saturday. We had like 3 runners get 9th place. One spot out of the finals. Our boys 4x4 got 9th place. One out of the finals. Our girls 4x4 got 10th. 2 out of the finals. So, but they, from the numbers we had, from where we started, they did a great job.
Unbelievable.
And there's so many of them coming back. So that's the big thing. That's you know. And we're looking forward to next year, and even summer track with some of the kids, because a lot of them are running through the summer. But I mean, and just as a whole, Delaware County did a good job up there.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that too? Real quick, shout out. We have a thread. What do they call that? A message thing that people are checking in. Kevin, yes, God, Thomas. You talk about a PR guy. There he is. Major. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for that. That means good. That means good. He's happy about that.
Right.
So, again, it's called Delco Sports 360. I'm Dave Burman. I love talking to these guys here. Dan Waters, baseball coach for the Clippers to the left, and here's LaFennis Terry to the right. And I want to get into your Facebook page, right? You want to talk about that right now? It's just blowing up. Tell us about it.
It's actually all 3 social media websites. On Facebook, I have the Delco Football Group. On Instagram, Delco_football is the page, and in Twitter, it's Delco Football. And you know, just trying to, even though I've stepped away from the game from the coaching aspect, I'm looking at it from a different aspect now, and I just want to try my best to highlight some of these young men and the teams and what they're doing down in Delaware County, because a lot of spotlight, we don't receive as much attention as I think Delaware County should. You know, and even when you have your teams like, you know, Strath Haven, the way they battled through the state tournament and ran into, of course, a recruited team, you know, no knock on recruited teams, but that's what they ran into. The same with Garnett Valley, the run that they made, you know, Ridley was, you know, pretty much deep up in there, and it doesn't get noticed, you know, and I also want to highlight as many kids, and even with, you know, with recruiting and everything, because I was actually surprised, man, on my Twitter, I'm looking left and right, coaches are following me, left and right, college coaches, and I'm like, that's a great thing, you know, it's because of exposure. Whenever I see something that a kid posts, that he's working hard, that he accomplished something, I share it. I post it. I've done homework. I've been checking teams. I'm looking at who's returning back. And also, you know, our Delco prediction panel, you know, that you're a part of. You know, we're going to come back next year.
I was terrible. I had a lot of bad predictions.
I've made the prediction panel, and I ended up, I think, close to second to last.
Yeah, I think Steve Maloney won.
Nah, it was actually Brian Warren.
Brian.
Yes,
and he was chirping a little bit.
Yeah, we got some good Delco guys on there that go back and know a lot about the sport, know a lot about the county, you know, and that's a great thing, just to still draw more attention to it, because, you know, our kids, they deserve it.
It's great. And so it's going to, hopefully we can get, even as the summer progresses, a lot of these guys on.
Right.
But you're one of the greatest talkers around. Can Shake, I'm sure he could get in here and do a little rapping.
I don't see him saying no. He's a great dude, man. And I actually said something to him Sunday. I went to my first AAU meet since I competed in AAU back in
late 90s?
Yeah, late 90s. And I had to tell him, you know, this year when we went to Penn Relays, I sat back and watched. It was our, you know, first Penn Relay since 2019, which was great. You got to, you know, get the feel of being normal again a little bit.
Franklin Field.
Absolutely. I mean, it was heaven.
It looks like it's got to be about 100 years old, like the Palestra, and they keep it in great shape.
Yeah, right.
And the experience these kids get is just. Do they get a little nervous?
It's the big stage. We had 2 of our, you know, top runners not competing, one injury, one with other issues, and the guys that had to actually fill in, LaFennis Mays Jr., who's a, you know, football player, first time running track, and Raheem McIver, and you know, talking to him, you get down that track, it's a little nervous, you know, you're a little nervous, but go out there and they performed, you know.
And Shippensburg too, it's a little intimidating, you know, but it's a great learning experience, and I know that you. There's so many people you want to thank in your coaching career. Let's start with the football. Chuck Cruz, of course, who went to Williamsport, did an unbelievable job.
Yeah, that's my guy.
And then he left. Oh, what's Chuck going to be doing?
I have no idea. You know, his son's actually going to Bloomsburg University.
Great wrestler.
And I know he's going to, you know, and he has still another daughter. Daughter's at Williamsport, so, you know, it may be that father role. Sometimes we got to step back and focus on family, you know. So it may be that situation. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I stay connected to him.
How about the great, the one and the only? I know he'll come on the show sometime.
Who's that?
James Peach.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Peach, man. He actually coached, and check this out. He coached the Hero Bowl in 4 different decades.
Wow.
He's that old, yeah. He seems like a kid.
That's like,
he
wow.
seems like a kid. He was actually head coach for a little bit.
Right.
Around 02, 03, I can't remember.
I was
the
going
exact
already.
year.
I was going already.
It was 02. He filled in and
When Warren was there, wasn't it?
yeah, right. And then Peach is one of his. I think he had 2 wins, and the first was against Joe Gallagher in
Okay.
Haverford. Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
hopefully we can get Joe on the show.
Right,
There's so
right.
many legends. We could have every week. We could have all and everybody. Just get in touch with me if you want to be on the show. That's it.
Right.
And the Hero Bowl. It's the All-Star game. It's the Delaware County All-Star game, and it was raining a little bit, right?
Before.
Okay, but it turned
stopped.
out good.
Yep.
And it turned out. Look at it turned out well. I did go 4 years to college, so it turned out well. And tell us all about it. It was. I saw some frowning players. That said, those kids wanted to win the game.
Right. As they should. My aspect and my view of it was a little different because this was my first time not being able to actually watch and enjoy the game because I was doing a lot of recording, posting, that type thing. So it was kind of tough to stay with the flow of the game. A little too many flags for me. But the kids, and it was great that it came down to the end. The East had the ball, last drive with opportunity, but of course a flag stopped that. But it's just one of those situations. I'm just glad the kids got to play. Talking to kids that would have played last year in it,
Right.
talking to kids that would have played the year before, and I would have loved to at least see them acknowledged, because a lot of kids look forward to playing in the Hero Bowl.
Yeah.
Even back when I played in it, the best part for me was the practices.
Yeah. How long's the Hero Bowl been around?
I think this was the 44th.
44 years.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so and you got to actually take it back, 46, 47, because 2 years they didn't have it.
Yeah. Did they have it? Has it always been at Dan, your alma mater, Cardinal O'Hara? Has it always been there?
Nah, they used to move from school to school.
No.
I played it up at Darby. Year before me was at Chi. Then it was at Widener for maybe 5-6 years.
Right.
And then now O'Hara's the new home.
Yeah.
Yeah, O'Hara's the new home.
All right. Now, back to Dan here, baseball coach for Chester High. By the way, that shows you how hard it is to win a PIAA state championship in any sport. Any sport. We have great baseball in Delaware County. We've had a few with Haverford School in the private school league from Delaware County, but the only PIAA Delaware County baseball team to win a state championship, Marple Newtown, and that was 2018 already. You remember that team?
Yes.
With the great Mark Jordan. And Mark is a trip. Now he's up at Radnor now. But it goes to show you how hard it is. And then Chichester had another good year in baseball, but first round knockout in the districts. It's tough. It's very, very tough.
Chichester wasn't as competitive this year as they have been in the past. They lost a lot last year, and we competed with every team this year. It was different than in the past. Like the teams in our league, like Chichester's and their boroughs, they're hard to compete with. And I have mentioned that being in this league, we should have teams that we're able to compete against, but nothing has been done toward that. So it's a struggle for us playing them because we don't want to be shut out every time we play them.
Right, correct.
But this year we hung with them, thanks to our players and our coaches. We hung with them for quite a while, and things were much better this year. So
How about Josh Hankins? Who
Oh, my God.
graduated
Yeah, Chichester.
from Chichester
Yep.
last year, freshman Coppin State.
Yep.
They won their league,
we faced him last year.
and they went to the NCAA tournament.
He was tough, absolutely.
And he was a heck of a basketball player too,
Yes,
Josh Hankins. Have to
absolutely.
give him a shout. And how do you have? Coaching's tough, man. I mean, you're at least you teach at the school, so you can go right out there from the school. And I'll ask you, LaFennis, about you having a job outside of the school. But how do you do it? How do you work with the kids? How do you find the time?
Well, one of the coaches I had this year, the new coach, Jamal Martin, he also works at the school. So that was a big help.
Yes.
Because for years it's just me. So that helped a lot. It's a lot, but I'm very into it, and I just do the best I can do. It makes me happy to see the kids interested and keep them busy. That's the most important thing. That's why we do the summer, And I was the first coach in Chester history to bring fall ball
Nice.
to Chester.
How long has that been around?
Since I've been here, like 4
4
years.
years already. Nice.
So I just decided to do that to keep them busy. And it's once again, it's volunteer. We don't get any help from the school, high school. It's all volunteer. So, you know.
How come teams like Chichester and Interborough have that extra edge? What do you think it is? I mean, and Chester, Penwood, Academy Park struggle.
Well, what it is they have a feeder program. So basically what happens with us is we have Jackie Robinson, and then after that it's middle school, and there's nothing.
Oh, man.
So a few years back we did have a middle school team, but that kind of faded out.
Well, hopefully we can get some guys
So-
that'll get that going.
That's what we're looking forward to. Coach Bell has been very good with that kind of thing, so I'm hoping it comes back.
Talking about our baseball field, it's home also. We have a Delco League team from Chester.
Yes,
McShane Dan's is the head coach there.
absolutely.
The manager, you want to call it. So it'd be a great experience for the kids just to check out the Delco League because some
Yeah.
very competitive games. I know the guy, and you're talking about some tremendous players, guys in their like prime.
Yeah, we try to do that and have the those Delco League players work with our players as well.
Right.
So we try to hook that up when we can.
Awesome. Let's talk about our sponsors again. A big shout out here: CMPRadio.net, Pressure Inc., KC Electric, and the awesome Kyle Davis, Cat Center, and also Northern Marketing. And we're going to have this show Monday nights. I'm looking forward to doing it. Till football season, and we got to get some more sponsors. If you're interested in being a sponsor, just contact me or CMP. There we go. Now back to Coach Terry. How do you find the time? I mean, you work in media, I believe.
Well, I'm actually the director of a program that works with court adjudicated youth and also families on CYS. So we're kind of mobile. At times, I do have to go to media for court. But it's kind of all scattered out. We have an office in Aston where I'm at a lot, but it's tough. But try to use social media to my advantage,
Right.
Which is a large one. Having the groups with the kids, communicating with them at night, making sure they're at school, that type deal. But it's something that if you want to find time for it, you will. Love doing it. Love doing it.
Jamal Martin is checking in.
Okay.
I see him in that little thread there. He has a little heart, a baseball, and a couple of other hearts. So here we go. There you go. People checking in. Great plug for Chester baseball. We'll keep it going here. And Dan Waters. So LaFennis Terry, I love it. Talk about. I found some stuff on your grandfather, right? The LaFennis Terry the first.
Senior.
Senior.
Yep.
And he was a very good athlete also. You want to give him some shout? We talk about the heritage here.
I lost my grandfather in 2011, but yeah, he was a big time athlete. He actually was a race car enthusiast, so he got into racing a lot. But in high school, he was baseball, football, and I believe it was just those two. And I know, but baseball stuck with him. I know he was a manager in AAA ball. I hope I'm saying it right. Bull Moose. I don't know if you ever heard of the Bull Moose. He was a manager within that. He actually played a very short stint with the Pittsburgh Crawfords. But yeah, he was an athlete. He's actually in Delaware County Black Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
He went
I
in.
didn't know we have that.
Yeah, it's the ceremony was actually in the Deshawn Museum. They actually had that in there.
They still doing it?
I'm not sure.
Oh man!
I never even knew the inside was nice like that until we went to the ceremony. I was like,
Because I know I'm on the board, and hopefully we can get the John Leary and those guys. Leary he's a funny guy. He's the board president. I'm on the board of the Delaware County Athletes Hall of Fame. There's also a Chester great Frank May has Delaware County State Hall of Fame. Some people confuse that, but we just have honored a lot of people, including a great umpire, Jerry Crawford.
Yes.
Delco guy. He was a trip up there.
Right.
Oh, he was funny. I got to put that on my page. I have a snippet of it. His speech was short and sweet. And Joe Crawford, his brother, and he was a wild referee.
And Shag?
Shag with a father, Major League umpire for years and years.
Right.
So what else are you going to be doing? What are you doing? And you have a wife and you have kids.
Yeah, I have a wife. I have 2 kids. My daughter's actually a sophomore. My oldest is a sophomore at Bonham Prendy. Not really into the athletic thing. She's more into art and music, so that's her niche, and I support her with it. Other than that, I have the younger 3-year-old, and I also, to bring back when you talk about my grandfather, but I think I got my athletic bone from my mother.
There you go. Tell me about Mom.
Class of '74, Chester High, most athletic in the class. She played softball, basketball, field hockey, and she was in a band.
I got to look her up on the archives.
Yeah, Dolores Watkins.
Dolores Watkins.
Yeah, she went to Cheney University. She didn't do any sports there. She just went there for academics, but she went to Chester High Hall of Fame, I want to say 2004. And I went in 2013. So it was C-Pride. I was born into C-Pride,
Oh, yeah, no question.
I was born into it, yeah.
Hopefully we can keep, we have the private schools around, and you try your best. You try your best to keep all your kids at home.
Right.
But you have to, you get like Deasia Atkinson. She was a tremendous player for Chester Charter,
right.
And then she transferred. Well, they didn't play basketball the last couple of years. Chester Charter girls,
right.
And she went to Newman Goretti and helped them win a PIAA state championship. So I got to follow these kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Talking about state championships, we've only had, as I said, had one. Bonner looks like they're going to do it. They went to the state semis last year, let it slip away against Wyoming area, who then eventually lost the 4A state championship to Newcastle from Western PA. But Bonner won today in the 4A first round over Fleetwood from the Reading area, 8-1. Mm-hmm. They're loaded again, and and Bonner should win it this year. And I know Strathaven played today. They played Wood. And again, only one softball team has won a state championship from Delaware County, PIAA, and that's Springfield Delco 2014. It is so tough. That's what makes it amazing what the Strathaven football team did. They're the only team to win a PIAA state championship, Delaware County football. 99.
And went back to back.
Yes, 99, 2000. Right. You lived through there.
Yep.
Dan Connor's freshman year was 2000. Mm-hmm. And then back-to-back state runner-ups to West Allegheny from Pittsburgh, who they had to play 3 times in a row, and Tyler Palco. Yep. No, he was funny. Mm-hmm. He was intense. And his dad just won the state champion. His dad was the head coach then,
right.
And then he just was a state championship for Mount Lebanon, right. And they just busted St. Joe's Prep in the state finals, who beat up a great Garnet Valley team also.
Right.
So 4 years in a row they went to the state finals. At Strathaven, and then Chester High basketball, 18 trips to the state finals, and 8 PIAA state championships. But the last was 2012, and that's for Chester. It's too long.
Yeah, I mean,
for the fans.
And it's funny because, if you were at a different school, you'd be like, hey, that's good, but it's just the standard that they set.
Yeah, because the last 2 years, only Chester High made it to the state semifinals.
Yeah. And many teams will be, in heaven if they were able to do that. But, just the standard, and that shows just the standard of basketball in Chester High School,
All right, and get Jamal Martin. Let's see, when's the last time a Chester baseball team made the playoffs? Well, that's probably never happened. The PIAA state tournament started in, I don't have all the brackets back to 1977, but I found some stuff for the great Ron Hunt, state champ. Guy. Oh yeah. That's on his brother. So he got a brother, Eric Hunt, who was a wrestler. I found some stuff on him the other day. So, but that's it. And then who's this here commenting? Brill.
It's East Brill.
As East Brill, a lot of state championships in Chester. My big cuz Dukes was on the state champ team. Oh, it had to be young Marvin Dukes.
Dukes.
Yeah, young Bo. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it was 2008. So we'll talk more about Chester basketball as time goes on. So what's going on? Let's talk track and field for June, July. What are you going to be doing? And then are you helping out in football at all?
No, I'm not. I'm just strictly track, and it's right now the Chester Cheetahs. The club team is running, and you actually comment on about the feeder program. But one thing about the Chester Cheetahs, kids come from all over to come run with the Cheetahs.
Like Chester Biddy basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even at this point, it's a young lady that's from Georgia that came up for the summer is on the Cheetahs track team. And that's why I was saying, just the job that the Cheetahs do. I see some national titles coming in this year from what I've seen so far,
Yeah,
they do a great job, and it's so many kids, and just watching the kids interact with the coaches, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Who's the head of the Chester Cheetahs?
Jamal Sheikh Allen.
So Jamal,
He's the head of the Cheetahs. Back when me and him actually were teammates in high school,
Right.
and we went to nationals together. But Coach Jamie Wharton was the head,
right.
and Sheikh took it over.
So he's like the Ralph Dorsey of Chester Biddy, I guess you would call him right there.
track,
So so absolutely incredible. So are you going to have some vacation time this summer, or you know?
Yeah, I got a 5-year wedding anniversary coming up, so I'm gonna find some
Me
time
too.
here and there. Oh, there you go.
We're in August. It'll be
Right.
5 years. Me and Honey.
Nice.
All right. So and her
Brenda
birthday's
Jean.
coming up. Yeah, Brenda Jean. Yes, her birthday's coming up. Of course, not going to say the age, but her birthday is coming up this Thursday, 6/9/2022. So
I plan on helping out. I went to their first meet on Sunday, and I plan on helping out with the youth. Of course, like you said, a lot of them are coming up to us and working on some throwing stuff with some of the younger kids. Shot put, javelin, discus, just introing, and also supporting with Coach Wani Clayton. He's also a throwing and jumping coach. Just putting time in and trying to help the youngsters out over the summer here and there.
well, a big sport, a big event that they won several state championships in Mifflin County, PA, and they won one again this year. Lewistown, PA, where I was for 13 years on the radio, is the javelin. And a young man, he wasn't the top in the state. A kid from AA was like 210,
Right.
but he threw a 184.9.
a good
Josiah
throw.
Seckler, yeah.
That's a good throw.
Yeah, and it was windy and crazy. So he won the PIAA state championship as a junior. We had a girl from Mifflin County won a couple javelin. So how can we get that better? Why are some areas better?
We're working on it. Our strength right now is probably our discus throwers. I had 2 javelin throwers throwing 120, 125. Just introduced it to it maybe
Nice.
3-4 weeks before the end of the season. So they're fairly new, both juniors, both coming back.
Right.
Like my guy that won the Delcos in the discus, he's a junior, he's coming back. So we'll have some guys. Back a few years ago, I had a kid, Tahaj Lundy. He was actually a football player, but he did javelin for me. He was throwing 150s, which is not bad for, and he actually got, 3rd in Delco. So it's a process. It's just a lot of times with a lot of my throwers, I get there senior, junior. I need to get some younger guys that can progress, because it's not something that you can just step on the field and do it at that high of a level, especially 180s.
Right.
Even when I was in school, I went maybe 160s and that was it.
Well, Chester, they don't have lacrosse. They don't have boys volleyball. They do have track and field, and they have baseball.
And soccer, kinda.
I'm trying to get tennis too.
Trying to get
Yeah, I heard about
yeah,
that.
yeah. The soccer would be hopefully in the fall.
Right.
But right now I'm trying to think. We are still 5A out of the 6 classes.
Yeah, yep.
But in track, where there's only 2 classes, AA,
AA, AAA.
and AAA. The experience in Shippensburg. Well, you weren't there, but I'm sure the kids were. What they say about it? Did they talk to you about it?
It was some disappointment because of what happened, Of course, we expected more, but you always expect to go and exceed expectations. But like I said, because they're young, I think it's going to work out for the best. It's going to make them hungry. It's going to make them come back, and especially our girls program, man, we are going to be loaded. We have a lot of young 8th graders, 7th graders coming in that are going to be able to compete at a high level in high school already as freshmen. So just looking forward to that. And but we're just pushing forward, trying to get more people out, and keep them busy.
Yeah, and you got to stick with it, and you have to make sure that there's not really much you can do, because I know that the scouts, high school scouts, those guys around, they're looking, and they come to the Chester, they come to the basketball courts and see what's going on. They look at these kids who are 9-10 years old.
The worst thing is when you're with the Cheetahs, and some of our coaches have trained kids with the Cheetahs, and then when school comes, they come and they kick our butt.
Right.
That's tough at times, but at the end of the day, it's helping kids.
That happens. Kirk Smallwood, he just resigned as the Harrisburg basketball coach. You had the Smallwood Summer League, and all of a sudden the teams got so much better playing, and that they start beating Kirk. They start beating Harrisburg. So you have to, deal with that. So right now, 17 minutes to go, and LaFennis, thank you very much for your time. You still want to hang out a little bit?
Oh, yeah,
Let me know anything. Back to Dan here. How do you talk about your Wife?
There's more post up there.
Wife, kid. Okay. It's your Jamal Martin. I love the comments here. Jamal says he's your assistant baseball coach.
That's correct.
Where did you go to high school again?
Me?
Oh, you went Chester.
Cardinal O'Hara.
Oh, you went to
Jamal went to Chester.
Oh, you went to, okay. We have kids that have competed. Okay.
Said they almost made it in 2008.
That was J.R. Wells in them time, wasn't it? Al Payne.
Yes. Yep.
On baseball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I
They
gotta
were
look
pretty
that-
good back
I
then.
gotta look. That's 2008. I gotta
Like
look
you said,
that
a
up.
lot of football players on that baseball team that year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Aaron was on there, Payne.
Right. Mark Francis Jr. Oh, my man. That's Bunky's grandson. This is my favorite. New favorite show. Thank you. I could talk. We talk about. All right, we're going to talk about your grandfather, and you know who's still around with us? Al Kerbo.
It's Carabao.
And I found articles on Al back in the day. He was big into marbles. He had articles in the Chester Times, Delco Times, on marbles. And Al was a great marble player. But those are the old heads, we call them, the old buzzards, whatever. And now I'm going to be 65, so I'm one of them. But Bunky Francis and Lawson Showell, you remember all those guys, and they would come out to Shippensburg every year.
Yep. I'm trying to think of the one gentleman, Mr. Gene.
Gene, late great Gene Davis. Yep. And
Play the game, especially on that football field. You can hear him up top. Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was. And Kerbo, Al, you can still hear him up there. Yeah. And Mr. Dennis, George Dennis. Yeah. He come. I don't know if you. Yeah. They went to probably the track and field state championships in Shippensburg, but they love it. These guys mean so much. Bunkies, all these guys, Hall of Fame, go back many years. And were they tough? Yeah, they were tough. They would speak their minds. They had some great articles in the Inquirer.
They were honest.
They were honest. Defense, stop the ball. Who is that? Oh, and he's D him up. He passed also.
Coach Logan.
Yes.
Coach Logan,
D
Keith
him
Logan.
up, D him up. I have tapes of games, and you can hear him on there.
D-up.
And you even asked me about cheerleaders, the mascot, and I showed you the one from 1983. I think a snippet.
The thing, the big orange
The
ball
thing, yeah, state champ. All right, we can go on and on. All right, Coach Waters here. What your thoughts on our show so far? Hopefully, we'll get you in here again sometime.
Well, I think that the main point I want to get out there is that if you're a good athlete, you can play baseball. I mean, we've had players come out that had no experience whatsoever, and they turned out to be the best players on the team. So if you're athletic, you definitely can play baseball. We can teach you,
Yes.
and that's my message. And also that baseball, you have a better chance of making it than basketball and football, and there's less chance of injury and not being able to play anymore.
Still,
that would be my message.
I played Chester Youth Baseball with Chris Leggett, who is the father of Lamar Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
Detroit Lions,
Lamar
nah.
played,
Yeah.
He's true luck. He's a Facebook guy, and I just saw him the other day. So Chris, we were on Chester Youth Baseball back in the day, 68, 69, and I was the catcher. I was a little chunky. I was the fat catcher, but I did okay. And we won the championship with Chris Leggett and Bobby, and I just had trouble with the curveball. That's one thing I just have a mental issue with.
Same here.
Yeah, and in the major leagues, some of the biggest brawls, I should say, and some of the most insane managers, they're from Major League Baseball. Just like, have you seen, who's probably one of the craziest now is Bob Boone, the Phillies, his son,
Yes.
Aaron Boone. So, yeah, it's a very intense game, but you're right. At the high school level, it's an unbelievable opportunity. So how can people, Dan, get in touch with you? Dan Waters.
Well, when we have fall ball and spring ball, we put up flyers all over the school. And, they can also just reach out to me at my email address, which is Dan, D-A-N-C, Waters, W-A-T-E-R-S, the number 1 at Comcast.net.
Dan Waters.
Dan C. Waters.
Dan C. Waters 1.
The number 1 at Comcast.net.
There you go. So, well, good luck rest of the way in the state. Hopefully, we can have a team from Delco win a baseball state championship this year, and kids playing college ball all over. And it was a great story with lacrosse. the Long family, Frank Long and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Long, daughter, Alyssa won a national championship with North Carolina lacrosse, and then son, Kyle Long, played Springfield Delco. He was on the national championship team the next day for the University of Maryland. It was an absolute big story today, Terry Toohey, in the newspaper. The coverage, let's talk about the Delco Times coverage, pretty good with McCaffrey and those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys kind of motivated me because I remember seeing a Delco football website them guys ran, and for some reason it just fell off the map. And that's why I kind of was like, you know what?
Yeah. Right.
Let me get into that. Let me try to revive that,
I'll keep putting on the history stuff. I think the guys
Absolutely.
like that.
Cool.
I kind of crop the articles. But I'd love to have an updated list of all the leading rushers and all that stuff.
And it's one on there, but I didn't want to publicize. I didn't want to take those stats knowing that we had guys breaking stuff. Of course, Mills this year broke the rushing record. And I think it was the past couple years, a couple guys that were close to it, so I didn't want to put that information out there and then not be fully correct. But it would be great to have updated stuff. It definitely would.
Yeah, hopefully. So how can people, again, get to see your Delco football, your Twitter? I don't get on much. I get on Twitter. I like Twitter for updates and stuff. And then the other thing
Instagram. That's more younger generation. But on Facebook, I'm Fenny Terry, FENNY Terry. And the page is basically just Delco Football. Search Delco Football, you'll see it pop up. Instagram, I run the Delco_football page, and Twitter is also Delco Football. So Delco Football, and have some things up my sleeve. I want to start, digging into teams and getting some previews together. I'm feeding it slowly, but we're gonna dig in, and I'm gonna try to go to the game of the week every year and report, and just try to publicize and bring as much attention to Delaware County football as I can.
And hopefully, if we continue the show, well, it's up to getting, some sponsors. I know we have the signature sponsors. They sponsor the radio station here, CMPRadio.net, Pressure Inc., KC Electric, Cat Center, and also Northern Marketing, because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit.
And I will say, shout out to Pressure Inc. He got me my Delco football shirts, and also KC Electric for fixing my problem last year.
Oh, nice.
Great dudes.
Kyle's
Same
everywhere.
Here. Same here.
And hopefully we will continue to do this, and especially with football season right around the corner.
Right.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
Because I already posted something the other day, and it was the Harrisburg Patriot. They do a great job. They have a paywall, but they have some articles free. Harrisburg scrimmage 7-on-7 already, Steel High. So that was a great experience for those kids, and I've enjoyed going out there.
Some big athletes on that field.
Yeah, and we have them in Chester this year, and hopefully. But real quick, can you tease us about the Chester football team? What you see?
I'm not. I mean, I've been kind of digging into other areas, so I'm kind of across the board, trying to be neutral as I can. To not show favoritism. But I'm just looking forward to this season. Just to see what each team. Because a lot of teams in Delaware County lost their starting quarterbacks. We're going to have to see a lot of quarterbacks replaced. A lot of big time players, have moved on and gone to college. So it's going to be interesting to see. Garnett Valley with the new coach losing their quarterback. Academy Park losing their big time Eric Willis. Chester High have to replace Isaiah Freeman. It's going to be interesting to see the pieces come together for each team in the counties, and I'm very, very, very anxious and looking forward to seeing it and covering it, and like I said, just putting it out there as much as I can to bring light to it, because our kids deserve all of the attention, for the positive things that they do and not the negative things. So.
Absolutely.
Dave, if I may,
go ahead.
A couple of my students are football players, and they practice every day. They even practice on Memorial Day. So they're really taking this serious. I'm like, are you kidding me? You practice on Memorial Day? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that's good. You got to do it. You got to do it. It goes so fast.
That's dedication.
The high school career life in general goes so fast.
True.
And is this the first? You've been to the studios before?
Yes.
Okay. So explain. It's in an old-fashioned building. Right. Kind of give everybody the dynamic. It's unbelievable. You can see behind us.
Yeah.
But the building itself houses a lot of businesses. And it's the address is 601 Upland Avenue, and technically it's like between.
I think this is Upland, PA.
It's Brookhaven, I think.
It's Brookhaven Post Office box. But
Yeah,
the township
exactly.
would be
But it's
Upland.
the gas station's right down the street.
Right,
there you
right,
go.
right,
And then you
right.
got there's a creek right over there, and then you got the long baseball fields. Jameer Nelson grew up the street a little bit there. Yeah,
Up Curlin.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right, guys, we're gonna pretty much a final word from you, LaFennis. Terry, anything you want to say in the next couple of minutes?
Well, I just appreciate you, calling me and asking me to come on, Dave. Delaware County sports is big for me. It's in my heart, and I love supporting it in any way I can. Multiple sports. I've actually come out to see coaching them play. I came to the what game was that? Academy Park. I came to the Academy Park game. Even before I was a track coach, I was going to track meets to go to basketball games. Because I think it should be. I can't say even playing field, but everybody deserves support. Everybody deserves, to have that support from their community, because our kids, that's one of the things they lack is support from their community. And when they see their community get past them, and perfect example is the football team, Coach Bell and all those coaches there, they've done a great job, and they got the community behind them. That's what's important. Even with our basketball team, the community's behind them, not as much as they should be now recently because, during the season, those bleachers be a little empty. They used to be a little more packed back in the day with the Penwood games and all those type games, but the community.
Out of Coatesville, the state semi game, it was mobbed.
It gets packed when they get deep in the playoffs, but it should be packed every game.
The ball
every
game,
game,
we have three basketball great, and football, obviously. With that Coatesville game last year was great. It was kind of cool being the public address announcer for Chester High. Coatesville, everybody was going to monitor how, and I think I called a pretty fair game.
Right.
It was
You did
awesome.
a good job, Dave.
It was an unbelievable game, and
Yes.
it was good to see both teams make the district. All right, LaFennis, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And come on anytime. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it. Dan, the final word from you here tonight. Dan Waters, baseball coach, Chester High.
I also appreciate you, Dave, because this is our program, and I've been working my butt off to try and get it going right. And basically, we just need guys to get interested in baseball and people to spread the word. And this is a good platform for it, and I appreciate that so much because, believe me, you have no idea. I've been working my butt off to get this where we need to be. So I appreciate you for inviting me. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for CMP and Mr. Bryce over there for calling me. And this is awesome, man. This is really good and really appreciate it. Mr. Bryce, thank you very much. I want to run down the sponsors once again here. It's Dan Waters, baseball coach for Chester High. Delco Sports 360. Yours truly, Dave Burman. Good luck to the rest of we got the lacrosse. We could have a couple of boys state championships in lacrosse, 2 Delco teams going at it. I mean, there's a chance to follow along. PIAA. Good luck to all the baseball, softball teams. We have we don't have any Delco volleyball teams in it, but that's a big thing going on, boys volleyball. And it was an awesome time here. Thank you very much, Guy. LaFennis Terry to my right, Dan Waters to my left. Again, our sponsors: Pressure Inc., KC Electric, Cat Center, Northern Marketing. Everything, by the way, is archived on YouTube, so we can watch this again, and you can spread it around for people that missed it on your email and stuff like that. So,
Also on Facebook as well. It'll be on there as well.
yes, I will be sure to check it out later on. Thank you very much. Great producing job. I'm Dave Burman. You've been watching Delco Sports 360, and we will enjoy the rest of your Monday, folks. We'll see you later.